Now then everybody, so in this week's video I want to show you two specific frame rates that you will more than likely be able to access on the camera that you're using to film with. So these are 25 frames per second and 60 frames per second. Now what I want to do is set up a B-roll sequence where I'm comparing the two frame rates so that you guys at home can see how you can use each frame rate differently to ultimately boost your production values. So in order to access 60 frames per second, you'll more than likely have to go into your camera's menu system and find it often where you can change your resolution of your camera. So one thing I should also note is your shutter, as a good rule of thumb, should be double that of your frame rate. So if you're filming at 25p, try to get as close to 50 as you can, and if you're filming at 60p or above, try to again double that figure to match. This is typically used to give you an aesthetically pleasing motion blur, but also to avoid flicker and other artifacting that you can get from digital lighting and monitors and things like that. So let's watch that sequence. Right, so you'll hopefully see from that footage, what I typically do with my 60p footage is I'll slow it down in post in order to get rid of all of those micro jitters and imperfections that you can sometimes get when you're working handheld with a camera filming other products. You'll notice it was a lot more difficult for me to get rid of those jitters and imperfections on the 25 frames per second timeline. And that's kind of the limitation of 25p. You are working with 20 frames, which means that if you do want to slow something down, you're already pulling frames which might not be there from each other. So it can be very tricky. So yeah, I like to slow down my footage ever so slightly to give it that nice, smoothed out motion. Obviously, filming in higher frame rates allows you to go one step further than this. And if you were filming in 4K, for example, I've seen people crop in and use the rotation in order to make it look even more high production value. In the end of the day, filming like this, if you are handheld, also does away with other bits of equipment that can be quite large and bulky, like sliders and gimbals, although I'm not suggesting that this would ever probably replace those things. So hopefully you've liked this video, and in next week's video I want to show you how I conform the media from 60 frames per second to a 24 frames per second timeline without using any special effects in the software. In fact, I use modifiers instead of the time effect. So if you're interested in that, I'll be showing you how you can do that through Premiere Pro and also DaVinci Resolve. So hopefully I'll catch you in next week's video. As always folks, I hope you've liked this video. If you did, please like the button underneath this screen, and also please subscribe if you've not already done so. And yeah, I'll catch you in next week's video. Thank you.